Righty, here we are again. Um, Yesterday I was watching something, and it was um a whole uh campaigning thing by old Cyril, making out as if he's working towards this great and wonderful utopia. And I wish I could actually find it again. Um, and then there was this black lady standing with a poster saying, "We shan't be free until uh, until the people in Gaza are free." And this is what people don't realize. They will promise you the sun, moon, and stars, but not quite yet until something else happens. There has always been something happening in the world. So which means, people, you shan't be free until, and then maybe somebody in China's starving. You can't be free until. These lies are absolutely disgusting from these fat cats that really don't care two hoots about anybody. Right, so today we're going to listen to how bad things are in South Africa concerning the food. And then you've got old Malema carrying on saying, "Kill the farmers." Yeah. Okay. Let's get to it.
70% of South African households are now unable to afford their monthly groceries, with only 30% of the entire population of this country reporting adequate access to food.
But of course, 70, and that's a large number, 70% are finding it difficult to buy food. And yet only 30, no, we are fine. And who do you think, are they? The leaders and the ones who have money. It is despicable.
But in a country where maize is the staple food, however, the poorest of the poor can cut the cost of food immensely. In fact, at the current prices of maize, a dirt poor family of four can live off of a single 50-kilogram bag of maize meal for an entire month, making their cost of living around 1,400 rands or just over $80. That being said, food security is now being immensely threatened by diesel shortages, and also on top of that now, the skyrocketing fertilizer costs, which could severely affect crop production this year. When there is a massive shortage of maize after harvest season, prices can easily double, effectively destroying that one last lifeline or safety net for the poorest of the poor South Africans. Also, coincidentally, the class of South Africans who are most likely to lead an uprising. You see, the same farmers responsible for keeping food on South Africa's tables are now being hit from both sides. They rely on imported diesel to plant their crops and imported fertilizer to grow them. The problem is that we virtually import every single bit of our fuel and fertilizer from countries that pass through the war-torn Middle East to bring the products here. But the hard reality is that if it weren't for the ANC's incompetence, virtually all of our fuel and fertilizer needs could have been taken care of through local production, for which the infrastructure already exists as it was built by the previous regime.
And this is what people don't know. We were a first world country. We, were able to actually produce so much stuff without always, having to go to Turkey, Russia, China. We can't do shit here, no more. And I don't think we actually realize how bad things actually are here.
As if South African livestock farmers being devastated by the foot and mouth disease outbreak that is so poorly managed by our government isn't enough. Now, the ongoing conflict in the Middle East could mean the agricultural industry in this country faces a double blow. The grain farmers, on the other hand, while not being hit as hard by the foot and mouth disease, is not only heavily reliant upon diesel, much more reliant than any other type of farmer, which of course we import from the war-torn region in the Middle East, but now fertilizer as well, which prices are also rising as a result of fears of the imminent global supply issues. And just as farmers across the country are now preparing to harvest maize or preparing their fields to plant their winter crops, more and more diesel pumps are running dry, there's no diesel to put in their tractors, and now...
And this is where it starts with the petrol. As soon as there's a hike in petrol, diesel, everything gets more and more expensive.
On top of this problem that they're already facing, fertilizer prices are surging. You see, today, South Africa imports roughly 80% of its fertilizer, which is much higher than the number of 70% for refined fuels, which means that any global disruption is transmitted directly into our local prices. But as is the case with diesel, this crisis too could have and should have been almost avoided entirely if the ANC government since 1994 simply maintained the perfectly functioning infrastructure they inherited from the very evil National Party government.
And this is what so few people realize. They have been fed so many lies. And yeah, we, I'm telling you, all sit poor and starving.
Stay tuned, because in today's video I'm going to expose that the economic shock that this country is about to face, that you probably haven't heard of in any of the mainstream media outlets, is much more significant than the government or the media wants you to believe. According to Jannie Strydom, the CEO of Agri Weskaap, over 70% of their members now report that they do not have access to fuel at all. At these rates, the agricultural industry in this country is now on the brink of being brought to a complete standstill for an entire planting season. It is interesting, though, that when the latest GDP figures were released earlier this month, it was reported that virtually all of the economic growth in this country, that 1% that the ANC is so proud of, can be attributed to the agricultural industry.
To the farmers.
the dismal manner in which the foot and mouth disease crisis was handled, despite the fact that we are now sitting with one of the worst departments of agriculture in the history of this country, our farmers pulled through and brought growth to our economy, while the mining and the manufacturing sectors contracted and got smaller. The agricultural industry expanded
Yeah.
by an astonishing 17.4%, despite all the problems we face because of the government. This massive growth can largely be attributed to last year's very strong crop yields for our grain farmers. But this year, things are looking dire for those same farmers who keep this country's economic engine running while all the other sectors are contracting. As we speak, global fertilizer prices are surging. While everybody is rightly worried about how much the price of diesel is about to go up due to the conflict involving Israel, the US, and Iran, we must not forget that about 30% of the world's nitrogen fertilizer exports pass through the Strait of Hormuz. And vessel traffic through this particular strait is now reduced to all but a trickle, with further disruptions across the Gulf and North Africa and the Eastern Mediterranean incoming. Within 48 hours of the first strike on Iran, North Africa urea prices surged by nearly 20%. And the EU naturally.
And this is what is disgusting. The the terrorists do not own the the sea there. It's not their sea. God, they are so pathetic and
Natural
childish.
gas jumped by 45%. Both of these products are extremely important in the manufacturing of any nitrogen-based fertilizers, the most important fertilizer that farmers use to grow their crops. According to a study by the Dutch financial services provider Rabobank, which is also the world's leading specialized agricultural bank or financial institution, the fact that fertilizers account for around
International
40%
waters.
of grain variable cost, meaning it is 40% of the cost that farmers put in order to produce grain of any kind, means that a price shock as large as the current one, if not reduced very soon, could absolutely destroy any and all profitability that most grain farmers worldwide had hoped for coming this season. Now remember, if we are looking at the Dutch financial institutions or American farmers for that matter, we are looking at farmers that are heavily helped and subsidized by the state in order to produce food for their nations.
Any single human being with a little bit of understanding, compassion would, subsidize the farmers. It keeps the people fed, healthy. But yeah, not a hope in hell.
In South Africa, our farmers get zero help from the
Of
state.
course not.
In fact, when our farmers want to do their own thing and fix their own problems, such as we saw with the foot and mouth disease,
Yeah.
the state is actively preventing them from fixing their problems. The complete opposite of the rest of the world. So if the rest of the world's farmers are struggling as much as Rabobank is saying, just think for a second how bad it is for our farmers. Fertilizer shortages already hitting the United States in the middle of its peak planting season, with nearly a quarter of United States commercial farmers having been unable to secure any fertilizer on
Despicable
time for
people.
planting. Skyrocketing costs now mean that in order to cover
Wow. They don't care. They really don't care. When there's a real civil war, and the country's burning down, they will grab their money, stuff it into suitcases, and run away.
The cost of a single ton of fertilizer in the United States, their farmers need to produce what they call 133 bushels, or what we call around 3.5 tons of corn, just to cover the fertilizer. Not all of the costs. 3.5 tons needs to be produced just to pay for this fertilizer. And yet, the reality is that if we come back to South Africa and we look at South African farmers, that South African farmers are already paying much more for fertilizer than their counterparts in the United States, who are subsidized by the government. A couple of weeks ago, shortly after the start of the war in Iran, it was reported that the price of urea granules, a critical nitrogen source in the manufacturing of potassium,
As of 5th March 2025, 95 ULP is priced at 22.34 per litre. Stands at 20.21 per litre. And this you cannot put onto us.
Nitrate or ammonium nitrate or any of the nitrates used to fertilize the soil suddenly rose significantly by 17.6%, climbing from 10,600 rands to 12,465 rands per ton, or around $700 per ton basically. Monoammonium phosphate, the essential product for phosphorus supply, similarly skyrocketed by 17.2%, from 14,325 to 16,789, or around $1,000 per ton. Now, the interesting part of this is it is two of the macronutrients used in all plant growth. If you know about the NKP model, which is nitrogen, potassium and phosphate, it covers the two most important ones of those, because potassium is usually the one that is abundant in the soil, and nitrogen and phosphate are the ones that needs to be subsidized by the farmers into the soil to make sure that the plants have enough nutrients to produce. This means that even before taking into account any future price increases, South African farmers are already paying around 20% above their global benchmarks.
Wow.
Yet, this looming disaster now facing crop farmers in this country could have been entirely avoided if the corrupt and extremely incompetent ANC had simply been able to do the most basic and basic maintenance on the plants they inherited from the former National Party government, the evil National Party, the apartheid National Party, the government we always hear is so bad, but also the government that built all of these plants that the ANC destroyed.
Honestly, this just, wow. We are all in the same friggin' boat. And these things happening, with all these people pouring into South Africa, there is not enough food to go around. Yeah.
You see, over the past 2 decades, South Africa's fertilizer production base, particularly with regards to the nitrogen side of fertilizer, its capacity linked to Sasol, has steadily eroded due to aging infrastructure that was not maintained, underinvestment in old plants that were built by the previous regime, and
Sasol Yeah. And I knew somebody who worked there, and he saw how things were actually going. There was no maintenance, nothing. And this was in early 2000, and it just got worse and worse and worse. And here we sit, importing everything.
And one fertilizer plant after another being closed down due to unprofitability, even though these plants were profitable in the past, due to the fact that these plants do not produce like they did previously when competent people were put in place
Yeah.
in charge of them. You see, the people who were in charge of them were fired due to black
Yes.
economic empowerment, and someone was hired on the basis of their skin color. After this happens, the process that we are seeing all over the country in every single sector, profitability plummets, and suddenly there's no reason to keep these plants running anymore, because these plants are not making money. And the easy thing now to say is, oh well, the products from overseas are now cheaper than the ones we produce locally because we can't do it profitably anymore, and we start importing these products from overseas. And then, when there's a crisis happening overseas, we have nothing to show for it. We have no way of making our own fertilizer like we used to, because we destroyed all the infrastructure needed to do that. Instead of expanding or even maintaining this capacity that South Africa had before 94, all of these key plants, or most of them, have become less efficient by the day and increasingly unable to meet demand by the day, and increasingly became more unprofitable by the day, forcing our country, South Africa, to rely more heavily on imports every single year, up until the point where we are now, where we import 80% of our fertilizer. And as a result, South African farmers are now fully exposed to the global price shocks and supply disruptions, with no meaningful local buffer to cushion this.
What is the point of, having land, a country where you can't do anything, where you can't build, maintain, expand? All that is going to be left is one giant dust bowl and nothing else.
Massive blow that's hit our country. Moreover, rising fertilizer prices do not just reduce profits, but also force farmers to cut back on application rates, which directly lowers yields across the country and threatens future food supply, and most importantly, makes the prices of the end product, the actual maize in the bag of maize meal, cost twice as much as it would have if agricultural activities could just continue as usual. Add to this the fact that farmers who still have a little over a week to buy diesel at the current price, but are now unable to even find the diesel due to the ongoing shortages, will have to end up paying nearly 40% more for diesel next month when the prices go up by nearly 7 rands, marking the biggest jump in fuel prices in the entire history of this country, even including the time in the 80s when the global sanctions hit South Africa and we were basically unable to buy any oil to feed our refineries. Even that was not as bad as the price hikes we are seeing today. This means farmers are being squeezed on both ends. The cost to plant is rising, and the cost to grow is rising at the same time, and the cost to harvest is rising at the same time. And unlike in most, or actually all first world countries, and even countries such as China and India and other third world countries where fertilizer costs are subsidized by the state, South African farmers are now in what can only be described as a worst of both worlds situation or position. Our fertilizer aren't being subsidized because our government, of course, feels very little for us. But on top of this, around 80% of the fertilizer in this country is
Yeah.
imported, leaving grain farmers fully exposed to the effects of the concurrent prices. And of course, at the end of the day, this isn't just farmers' problem, because higher fertilizer costs and higher diesel costs force farmers to reduce planting or cut yields, which directly reduces the food supply, which at the end drives up the prices of the staple feeds in South Africa. All of this in a country where already 70% of the population experience food insecurity, meaning citizens simply can't afford to pay for food any longer. Now, what is the effect of citizens that don't have food? Well, just look at history and find your answer.
Yeah.
Over the past weekend, we released a report on the ever-increasing fuel shortages, very similar to the shortages of fertilizer that threaten to massively disrupt South Africa's economy, even as early as this week. Check out that full report.
And this is the horror story of what is just around the corner. And the madness of this, they will still vote for a black person that, okay, looks like them. Okay, that's it for today. Well, yeah, for now, shall I say. Thank you for watching. Bye.